In today's news video, we cover Russian missile strikes critical infrastructure in Kyiv, chaos and panic in the streets. Iran Navy sets sights on Panama Canal, will tensions escalate in the Americas? Russian missile attack on Kharkiv. 800 injured Ukrainian soldiers on the verge of release, historic breakthrough in talks with Russian captors. Enjoy watching and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on important news. Kyiv, January 14th, Reuters, a Russian missile attack hit critical infrastructure in Kyiv on Saturday morning and explosions rang out in the Dniprovsky district of the Ukrainian capital, a senior presidential official and other officials said. Reuters journalists heard a series of explosions in Kyiv before an air raid siren sounded in Kyiv. Officials told residents to take shelter. Missile attack on critical infrastructure facilities. Details are being checked, said Kyrylo Tymoshenko, deputy head of the president's office. Kyiv's military administration said an infrastructure facility had been hit, but did not say which. Explosions in Dniprovsky district. All agencies heading to the site. Stay in your shelters. Kyiv Mayor Vitaly Klitschko wrote on Telegram. He said the debris of a missile came down on a non-residential area in the Holosivsky district in the west of Kyiv. Russia has been pounding Ukraine's vital energy infrastructure with missiles and drones since October, causing sweeping blackouts and disruptions to central heating and running water as winter bites. The Islamic Republic of Iran Navy is sending ships to the Panama Canal, according to an article published in state-run media Friday. The Iranian Navy has yet to operate in two straits in the world, Navy Commander Rear Admiral Shahram Irani said Wednesday at a Navy ceremony, according to Tehran Times. One of them is the Panama Canal. Irani did not identify the other strait but said the Iran Navy would operate in it this year. Irani did not lay out a similar timeline for when ships may head to the Panama Canal. Today, if my comrades are approaching the shores of the American continent, they are showing signs of the authority of dear Iran, Irani said. As a showcase for the dear people of our country, we appeared in the Pacific Ocean for the first time. Of course, along this route, Australia and the French created threats for us and tried to violate the laws they had approved to cross their coasts. But we answered them with authority and according to the law. He went on to say that the Iran Navy has set up commands in the Atlantic and Indian Oceans, with one expected in the Pacific Ocean this year. The Iranian Navy has been trying to extend its international presence and range of port visits, Behnam bin Taleblu, an Iran expert at the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies, told USNI News. However, whether it makes it to the Panama Canal is unclear, as the Iranian Navy is known to be hyperbolic, he said. If anything, the statement tells one more about Iranian intentions than capabilities, as the regime tries to project strength abroad when it is increasingly looking weak at home, Taleblu said. While Irani did not specify what ships would travel to the vicinity of the Panama Canal, two Iranian Navy ships deployed last year and have been operating in the Pacific. Frigate Iris Dina and Irans Makran, Iran's largest warship, made a port call in Jakarta, Indonesia, and was tracked by the French Navy and the Royal Australian Navy. As part of Australia's broader whole-of-government maritime border protection efforts, Defence routinely monitors maritime traffic in the vicinity of our exclusive economic zone and maritime approaches, an Australian defence official told local broadcaster ABC. Defence has been aware of two Iranian warships operating in the Indo-Pacific for some time. In December, Irani said the two-ship deployment represented an expansion of Iran's maritime ambitions. What is important in the matter of maritime presence is authority. Presence in the seas means power and authority, the Navy chief explained. The first message that a frigate or submarine sends out is that the country that builds them has acquired the required knowledge to dominate the sea. Russian military forces have launched an attack on the city of Kyiv, deploying S-300 missiles in the process. This information was provided by Ola Syniehubov, head of the Kharkiv Oblast Military Administration, and Ihor Terekov, mayor of Kharkiv, on Telegram. At the time of their statements, the attack was still ongoing and residents were advised to remain in shelters. The all-clear was later given at 8:12 Kyiv time. Terekov reported that Kharkiv was hit twice, with preliminary reports indicating that 4 S-300 missiles struck the Industrialnyi neighborhood, targeting infrastructure facilities. There is currently no confirmation of casualties or damage. Russian occupation forces deployed S-300 missiles to carry out an attack on the city of Kharkiv on the morning of January 14th. Source: Ola Syniehubov, head of the Kharkiv Oblast Military Administration, on Telegram. Ihor Terekov, mayor of Kharkiv, on Telegram. Details: Syniehubov only said that the attack was still underway at the time of his writing. He asked Kharkiv residents to remain in shelters. An all-clear was sounded in Kharkiv Oblast at 8:12 Kyiv time. Terekov said that at the time of his writing, Kharkiv was hit 2 times. Quote from Terekov: morning attack on Kharkiv. Preliminary reports indicate 4 S-300 missiles hit the Industrialnyi industrial neighborhood. The Russians targeted infrastructure facilities. We are yet to confirm information about casualties and destruction. According to updated information, the city was hit twice. Dmytro Lubinets, Ukraine's Human Rights Commissioner, Ombudsman, has handed over a list of 800 injured Ukrainian soldiers held in Russian captivity to his Russian counterpart Tatyana Moskalkova as part of the talks held to discuss the release of Ukrainian prisoners. Ukraine hopes that the 800 soldiers on Lubinets's list will be released. Source: Dmytro Lubinets, during the 24/7 national newscast. Quote from Lubinets: we are talking about repatriation rather than a prisoner swap. There will be no conditions on either side. This is the first time such an initiative has been discussed. We have handed over a list of people serving in the Ukrainian army who we believe to be injured or severely injured. The list comprises nearly 800 people with injuries. Details: Lubinets also said that the Ukrainian side received a similar list from Russia. This list is currently with the coordination staff for treatment of prisoners of war. Our task was to obtain the list and pass it on. The decision will be made later. I believe that this is a promising step. At least the Russian side supported our initiative. Let's see what happens next, the ombudsman said. Lubinets said that he and Moskalkova referred to the Geneva Conventions, comparing different translations of the document. Together they arrived at a conclusion that heavily injured prisoners of war have to be handed over to the opposing side in accordance with a repatriation procedure. Previously, on January 12th, Dmytro Lubinets held the third round of talks with Tatyana Moskalkova, the Commissioner for Human Rights of the Russian Federation.